Hey guys, how's it going today? I have been seed starting and getting all kinds of things planted and ready to go in my garden, and I'm excited. And one of the things that has come up on some of my Facebook posts that I've had is people asking me, what are you using, Jess? What are the different materials that you've been using? And you've seen some of my other videos, you've seen my grow lights, and you've seen my seed starting mix, and I wasn't anticipating on making this video, but I had so many people asking me questions off of this picture that I posted about something completely unrelated. Bella, I think they were getting a delivery. That I felt like I needed to answer some of these questions a little bit more in depth about what I picked and why I picked it and how it's going. So, and also to make sure that people understand that there are other options out there. So if you don't have the investment ability to buy these particular items that I'm using this year, there are other options. So I have the items that I'm using and also other substitute items that I've used in the past that work great if you want to just get started and see if gardening is for you, or if you want to get started on more of a budget and then gradually over time upgrade to something that's a little bit more like what I'm using this year. So to get started, I'm going to show you first what I've used before, and then I'll show you what I'm using now. And the first thing that I'm using that I've used before is something very, very basic. And this is simply a roaster tray to hold solo cups with holes in the bottom. Very, very simple. There's nothing fancy about this. All I do is I put the solo cups, I punch a hole in the bottom of them. You can do this with a drill. You can do this with a screwdriver. I usually heat it up a little bit so then that way it's easier to punch through. Or you can do this, you know, with a knife, any other way, or a pair of scissors. I've done it with a pair of scissors a lot, and it works pretty well. And then you just stick them in the bottom of here, so then that way you can bottom water just like you would normally with anything else. And the nice thing about this particular system is it's really inexpensive. Your roaster trays, you can get a few of these for, I don't know, I think $3 or $5. You can get a package of them. And then a package of solar cups will cost you another $3 or $5. So you won't have a big investment. The other thing is that these, if you plant a tomato plant in this at about 4 to 6 weeks before your last frost date, you can take the plant from here directly to whatever is getting it planted in. So your garden or a container or giving it to a friend. You won't have to replant them if you plant them in this from the get-go. So that's one nice thing, is it's really low maintenance. The other thing is that then everything is contained in this roaster tray, and if it gets ruined or mangled or whatever, you're not disheartened about it. It's also easier because everything is, you've got a little bit more of a well on the bottom of this to keep water. Whereas for a lot of years I used a baking sheet with some tin foil covering it to kind of protect the baking sheet. And I only had like a little tiny lip in it. And that was really, really frustrating to be able to get enough bottom water in there for the plants to kind of have enough time to suck it up. And so I like the roaster trays a little better because then you have enough room to bottom water and they can really kind of soak up the water all the way to the top, especially with something as tall as a solo cup. And then you can dump out the excess later. The one thing that I would say to add to that is if you want to be able to do something that's dome-like to keep your seedlings moist before they get germinated, is to use press and seal or a cling wrap. And you just take a little piece of it, put it over the top of your solo cup until you see the seedlings emerge, and then you can take it off, and that's it. And this is just another like $3, maybe $4, depending on your grocery store. And you can buy the knockoff brand, totally fine. And then that way you're in for all of these supplies that you see in front of you, probably under 10 bucks, maybe 12 if you buy the name brand of everything. And then you have your potting mix, and that's it. Pretty inexpensive to do it this way. Now, if you wanted to graduate up a little bit more to do something a little bit fancier, you can buy these cups on Amazon, and they're not expensive either. You can get 100 of these for, I think it's $12. And maybe, don't quote me on that. I'll put the link down below about where I got these on Amazon and how much they are, but I bought, I think, a package of 100 or 110, and they weren't expensive. They are reusable, which is nice. And if you're going to do plant sales or give them plants away to friends, it's kind of nice to be able to give them something that looks a little bit more professional than your solo cup. So that's one of the reasons why I have these. I also like these because they don't topple as much, because the solo cups are so tall. You can see the difference. The solo cups will topple a little bit if you're not careful. So that's one of the reasons why I like these. They also have a little bit more drainage in the bottom than just one big hole punched in the bottom of the solo cup. So they drain a little bit easier. They wick up that moisture a little bit faster. So that's one reason why I like these if you wanted to upgrade from using the solo cups. But either way, it's totally fine. Now you can use these in the next system, which I'm going to show you is something that I use or am using this year. And that is a couple of different things. I'm going to show you one of the things I'm going to change halfway through this plant starting season, because I've got some seedlings started in one thing and I'm going to change to this other. So the first thing that I have is the seeds, this bottom tray. And this is a big, sturdy, heavy-duty plastic bottom tray. And it is from Bootstrap Farmer. I have 10 of these and I love them. They're awesome. There's no drainage in these. This is what you put your seed start cells in. And you could put in, if you wanted to just buy the trays, you could put in your little cups or your solo cups or whatever in these. I do have some of these in a tray like this for larger plants, like I've got some artichokes and nasturtiums and some California Wonder Peppers started in this because I'm giving them away. And also because the artichokes, I don't want to repot in the middle of it. This is the first year I'm growing artichokes, and so I want to make sure that I'm giving them the most opportunity for success. And so I'm keeping them in these until I'm ready to repot them. But this I really love. The Bootstrap Farmer, they have their own website, and I will link it down below. I'm not affiliated with them, I just really like the product. I did get this one on Amazon, and you can get it on their website or on Amazon. I will link both down below. And I think this comes in black too, if you would rather have the black. I like the white because I think it's really, I don't know, I aesthetically like white better. So this I like. The thing that I'm going to change mid-season is I bought 72 cell seed starters, and this is the one that I bought. I got it on Amazon, and I liked it because it was less expensive. I also liked it that I could get it shipped on Prime, because that makes it easier for me. I am not as much of a fan of this, and I'm not going to continue using these. I have a few more of them the rest of the season. I think I'm going to give them away to somebody. And the reason why is I'm going to show you the comparison between this one and another one. So this is the Bootstrap Farmers 72 cell, which I ended up buying later because after I started my seeds in this, when I realized that I should have gotten this one. And let me show you the difference. I'm going to stack them on top of each other. And you can see the height difference in the cells. Hopefully you can. I'm trying to hold that up there a little bit for you. So you can see the bottom one has got a much deeper cell, and then the top one is just much more shallow. The other thing is that the top one that I got on Amazon, because I did buy the seed cells from the Bootstrap Farmer on their website. This one was not on Amazon. These are so much more flexible, and they want to cave in on me. I've got a lot of bowing in my trays downstairs using this one, and the dome doesn't fit perfectly over them that I'm going to show you in a minute. The thing with the Bootstrap Farmer one is it doesn't want to flex hardly at all. It doesn't want to bend or do hardly any of that, and it doesn't want to break. I feel like this lighter one is possibly going to break on me, and I may not get as many seasons out of it. And I really just want to be able to have deeper cells for my seedlings. I think I'm going to have to transplant them sooner than if I would have started them in this to begin with. The other thing is because this one is deeper and because it's made for this product, it goes all the way to the bottom of the tray that it's designed to go with, the 1020 tray. And the other one just doesn't. The other one doesn't get to the bottom, and so I'm ending up having to use a lot more water to bottom water in this white tray than I would have if I'd just gone ahead and bought the more expensive seed cell tray. So I think that If you were going to be using, if you wanted to be able to buy the less expensive thing like this would be wonderful on top of an old cookie sheet, which is what I'm going to recommend to the person I give it away to, because that will give you enough lift that you can still bottom water, and then you'll still get enough airflow around them. And then you'll probably still want to do like a press and seal over the top or something like that. Or if you have another kind of makeshift dome, maybe like a clear tote, if you have a clear tote and you wanted to use that, I think that would be a great suggestion. So if you wanted to buy this one, there's still ways I think that you can make it work, but I personally am going to switch to this other one because I don't want to repot my seedlings as quickly. So I think there's pros and cons here. This one you can get by on a lot less money and you'll just have to pot up a little bit faster, and they don't work quite as well with the more expensive tray, but they'd work great with the cookie sheet. This other one, much more heavy duty, much more long lasting, and you won't have to pot up as quickly. So there's that. The next thing I've got is also from the Bootstrap Farmer, and this is a dome that goes over the top of the tray, which I really, really like, and it just sits over there on the top like that, and it's got these little vents, these little plastic dials that you just pop in, and they turn to be able to vent as much airflow as you need. They've got 2 on the top and 2 on the side, which I liked because then I can turn on a fan and have a fan going and on the ends or wherever, so then that way some that are venting can get a little bit more airflow, or if they're drying out a little bit too soon, then I can go ahead and close it off. But I liked this because my tomatoes were getting too hot under the grow light based on where they were positioned, but the plants that were right next to them in another tray were not getting that much heat. So there must be some inconsistencies in my bulbs based on the middle versus the ends on how hot they were, how much heat they were giving off. So I was able to go ahead and vent these to have more heat escape out of the dome, so then that way they wouldn't basically cook my seeds. And then that way also my seeds were able to germinate the way that they were supposed to. So I really like these. I really like that this is going to be able to last me for a really long time. It's really heavy duty. I like that it's flexible. I like that it's going to be easy to wash, because I've already had some that I've taken off my seedlings because they're up and ready to go, and I can wash them out really easy just with a spray of a garden hose. So the last couple things I want to show you are kind of bonus things. They're not necessarily seed trays, and they're not things that you have to have. So I don't want people to feel like you have to buy these things, but if you wanted to kind of have something that's a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, or you just kind of want to bump up your game a little bit and you think, I think this might help me, these next 2 things are kind of fun. So the first one is a seed heat mat, basically. And I got this one. This one I highly recommend. I actually have 2 of these. I love it. And this is from Vivo Home, or Vivo Home? I think it's probably Vivo Home. And it's got some reference guides on it for days to germination, which is really kind of nice. And then you just stick it down, and it has a thermometer on it, and so it will help keep the seedlings to, or the soil to, the correct temperature that you want it to be. So it's got a little sensor that is right here that has a little suction cup you can suction to your table or whatever. You stick this down in the soil, you set this, which can be set to Fahrenheit or Celsius, and then it will heat it to where the temperature gauge is what you want it to be. Now, in my case, I ended up not having to use it for very long, just enough to kind of get them going, because the heat off of the grow lights was enough to keep them warm. So I really only needed it for a couple of cold nights in my basement that it was just a little bit too chilly down there to keep them at the right temperature. But once they were up, then they were fine. So I really like this. Now, if you wanted to provide some additional heat, if you're trying to germinate something like peppers that needs that, but you don't have this or you don't want this, you can stick them on top of your refrigerator. Totally fine. That is completely acceptable. It'll give off a little bit more heat and they'll be out of your way. And I did that before and it worked great. So don't feel like you need to have this, but if you wanted to have it, or maybe you don't have room on your fridge and you just think that'll be easy for you, this one I like, and it's really easy to use. It also comes with its own storage bag when you get it, so when you get ready for the end of the season, it's an easy thing to put away. The last thing that I have is something that I got asked about because it was just kind of fun and it's just kind of girly. I have these little bitty plant tags that are hearts, and completely unnecessary. You can totally use popsicle sticks, or you can use something that's recycled. Some people save, you know, little pieces of cardboard, or, you know, they save plastic spoons or something like that from restaurants that they get. Whatever works for you. But I saw these online and I said, oh, those are so fun, and I'm gonna go ahead and get them. So I will link them down below if you want to have heart-shaped plant tags, even if it's just for like a house plant. So anyway, that is what I have today, and I hope that's helpful. I hope that being able to see what you can do on a lower dollar versus more of an investment is helpful. If you guys have any ideas on anything that you've used that has been really, really successful for you, then please drop a comment below. I'd love to hear what has worked, and maybe if you've done something that's a little bit different, then also anybody else out there that maybe hasn't done this before can learn from your experience as well. So I hope to see you soon, and if you haven't subscribed, please don't forget to do so. We're trying to grow the channel here and be able to reach other people and help them grow their gardens as well. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.